Hey folks, this is Bill with Dine Drink Vegas. I'm standing here outside Bazaar Meats by Jose Andres, just an absolutely premier steakhouse in the Sahara Hotel on the north end of the Las Vegas Strip. And what I want to do is talk to you about what my fantastic experience here was like. Now, I recorded this audio originally when I was still in the restaurant, but they had some very loud copyrighted music going. So, what I'm going to do now is re record this so that you get a sense of what the entire experience was like. On this channel, we never make you watch us eat. So after I do this quick walkthrough of the restaurant, what I'm going to do is come back, show you some rolling footage of the menu, talk to you about what was good, and then have you watch my bartender make this just amazing smoked Manhattan that she made. So I'm walking through the restaurant now, and one of the things that I really liked about it was the fact that the kitchen is open, and they've got a couple of different cooking stations, but he's very much into cooking over live hot flame, and I love that. You can see the steaks, they are of incredibly high quality. Now, I didn't see an option on the menu to actually pick the particular steak that I wanted to eat, but that's okay, right? Like, that's never been as important to me. Now, it's a huge deal when I'm at home. It's less of a deal when I'm in the restaurant, and the meats that I wound up having were absolutely premier. They've got a lot of cured meats in this restaurant, like that salami I just showed you, and they got a couple of options of that, particularly for appetizers, which I think is a really great way to approach the meal because, as my waitress or my bartender rather described it, a lot of what they try to do is presented tapas style. So you're not seeing a lot of people at these tables now, but that changed later on in the meal. The restaurant got very full, and this was a random Tuesday night in May of 2023. If you're planning to go, it's absolutely the sort of place where you're going to want reservations. They have, again, more cured meats. Like, that's what they're into. I'm sure you could eat here if you were vegan or vegetarian, but I think that would be a lot harder to pull off. That's not the specialties of what they do. So I'm walking back up towards the first cooking area now, and I'm walking back out towards the bar. Because I came in solo and without a reservation, I wound up having to sit at the bar, but that was actually just fine with me. You can see it here. It's a little bit of a dark theme, but that's not a problem. It was a pleasant ambiance. I really enjoyed it, and I wish there wasn't so much copyrighted music so I could show you that live, while I was there. Well, I'm coming around now, and what I'm about to do is pull out a copy of the menu because I want you to know what the choices are and what they cost. It's not cheap, but it's not expensive for the kind of restaurant that it is, right? It's a celebrity chef who's working with some incredibly high-end ingredients, and I'm starting here with a view of the bar menu. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you already know we started with the drink, and I will show you that in just a second. But the drinks, I mean, they were kind of standard Vegas prices for high-end restaurants, particularly high-end restaurants on the strip in hotels that are high-end or trying to position themselves as high-end hotels. You can see they've got a tasting menu here. I asked and I was able to get that even though I was a party of one. I almost did. My problem was I just wasn't hungry that particular day. I'll show you the things I did have in just a minute. But yeah, if you're into tasting menus, I think that would be a great option. A lot of the appetizers, again, like I said, are presented tapas style. And I think that would be a really good option. Another way to enjoy dinner, particularly if you want to come to an upscale place like this, but you don't want to quite spend that kind of money. So what I'm going to do in just a second is show you the first drink I had, which was the Mediterranean gin and tonic. I'm usually more of a bourbon guy, but I wanted something which felt like it was authentic to the restaurant, and there you go. So there was a bright pop of citrus flavor. I really enjoyed it, and I was going to get a second one, but while I was there, somebody next to me ordered the smoked Manhattan. And again, I wouldn't think of a Manhattan as a drink that you would normally get at a high-end Spanish place like this, but watch my bartender while she makes it. What that vase is just completely full of smoke, which she has closed in with a rock. She's getting ready to make mine now. She had already made the one for the guys who are seated over to my right. But you can watch that, and you can see that it's a great big glass completely filled with smoke. She's now going over, she's mixing the drink. She's got some really high-end ingredients to work with there. She was good to talk to. She was able to talk to me about all the various things I could try, how to go about my meal. She was able to customize drinks. Like, the bar service here was fantastic, as was all of the other service that I got. So she's going to finish mixing it now, bring it over, and I want you to watch the smoke pour out of this. So yeah, you can't hold it in, puts it back there, lets it soak up into the drink for a little while longer, brings me my glass. Now, look at that ice cube in the middle. I love the big, clear, crisp ice cubes. So that drink was just an amazing drink, and it was an amazing experience. But let's talk about the things that I had to eat. First, I started with gazpacho, and I'll be honest, folks, I'm not a cold soup guy, or at least I wasn't a cold soup guy till I came here and tried this. It is a tiny little thimble. When you see it for $9, you're like, that's a great deal. Kind of not, right? It's a tiny thimble. But I love the taste of the oils and the peppers and the tomatoes and the cucumbers. That is absolutely a thing I would get again, but I would treat it as an amuse-bouche rather than an appetizer. I also got this carpaccio. Look at how richly marbled that carpaccio is. Like, you could tell that the steaks they presented in that case up there, that wasn't a one-off thing or a thing they only did some of the time. It was incredibly well marbled. It tasted perfectly, and they had a lot of good salty pops to it. For my entree or for my main, I wound up getting the Iberico pork. Now, that was the one small error. I said, is medium too much? And my bartender was able to talk to me knowledgeably about it. She said, no, you can certainly do that, but chef recommends it medium rare. So I got it medium rare. It was cooked to a perfect medium rare. That was chewier than I tend to prefer, but that wasn't their fault, right? They did what I asked them to do. The cut of meat was perfect. The cut of meat was actually pretty reasonably priced for what it was. And again, it was seasoned perfectly. The grilled fruit added something nice to it. On the side, I elected to get some asparagus, some grilled asparagus, which is very good. It was served on top of a puree, and they didn't tell me what the puree was, but it tasted to me like it was probably a mix of tomatoes and peppers. This was a great side order, but I'll be honest, folks, it was grilled asparagus, right? There wasn't that much to do here. So would I go back to Bazaar Meats by Jose Andres? Yeah, absolutely, in a heartbeat. I actually think I can go there Labor Day this year when I'm back with a group of friends of mine, and I can enjoy it properly with a group of people because it seems very much like a sort of social experience. You saw earlier the great big tables they had for big groups of people. I need to try the steak. I love my Iberico pork, though. I loved the service I had. I loved the drinks I had, right? Like, everything about this was great. I've just got to do a better job of ordering the meat to the temperature I actually prefer. I hope this video has been helpful to you. What we try really hard to do here at Dine Drink Vegas is bring you fairly short and focused videos which help you plan your next trip to Vegas. If we've done that here, I would really appreciate your support for the channel. Just hit like and hit subscribe. Be sure and tell your friends about this channel when they're planning their next trip to Vegas. And I hope that you'll check out Bazaar Meats by Jose Andres because it's just about one of my favorite steakhouses in Vegas. And I don't know that it's not also one of my favorite places for tasting menus. Thanks so much and happy travels.